Dude, man. Hey, Lois, what's up? What'd you get on your paper? Did you work twice as long on that paper than I did? I got an A. Come on, dude.
Thanks a lot, Phil.
So cute.
I'm a total failure. I can't do anything right.
I'm a total failure. I can't do anything right. How often have you echoed the same feeling about yourself? Lois has fallen into the all-too-familiar trap called low self-esteem. She is viewing her entire life as a failure because of one single negative event. This video will focus on one of the most important ingredients necessary for a fulfilling, rewarding life: self-esteem. It will discuss the importance of feeling good about ourselves, show you how to recognize and avoid low self-esteem traps, and finally, give you tools to help you dig yourself out if you fall into one.
Hi, Mr. Thatcher.
Hey, hi, Lois.
Got a few minutes?
Oh, I sure do.
My English Lit elective. I want to drop it. Today. Before it's too late. I got an F on my first essay assignment in there. I spent hours and hours on that dumb thing, and I still didn't do it right. I can't do anything right.
Lois.
Everything I do is either wrong or not good enough. I tried out for the girls' basketball team. My friends made it, but I didn't. I can't even keep a boyfriend. Tommy's always griping that I'm too moody and negative, and that maybe we should break up. I just know I'm going to be the only junior without a date for the prom.
Now, hold on a sec, Lois. You're getting way ahead of yourself, okay? Now, let's back up a minute. What would you do if you couldn't drop the class?
I would get a bad grade at the end of the term.
Okay, and then what would happen?
Then I would get a lower grade point average.
Okay, so what would happen then?
The journalism school which I want to attend might not accept me.
And then what?
Then I'd probably have to settle for a low-paying job for the rest of my life.
Lois, you know, it sounds to me like you have a really bad case of low self-esteem.
Low what? Sounds like some new disease.
No, self-esteem. It's a very important ingredient in leading a fulfilling and rewarding life.
Self-esteem is a very necessary ingredient for leading a fulfilling, rewarding life. Think of self-esteem as feeling good about ourselves, keeping a positive attitude, having self-worth, confidence, and respect.
But I don't feel good about myself because I know I'm a failure. I feel like, well, you know, down in the dumps.
It's not hard for us to get down on ourselves. We frequently behave and perform according to the way we feel. And negative feelings can easily creep into our thoughts. This happens when we judge our own actions as inadequate, and when we receive negative input from others. And this affects the way we think and behave. We call it down in the dumps. Judging ourselves as inadequate and negative input from others can lead to negative feelings and low self-esteem.
You know, down in the dumps.
You know, it's kind of a form of depression, Lois, and it does have a lot of symptoms. Well, let's see if these sound familiar to you. moodiness, feeling tired, griping all the time, no ambition. I mean, is this the kind of self-portrait you're painting for Tommy? Oh, look, there's the bell. Why don't we go inside and talk about it, okay? You know, Lois, it has been said that people are kind of transparent.
You mean we can see through each other like Superman?
No, not like Superman. I mean, well, people wear their feelings, you know? We express our emotions and our feelings by the way we look and behave. And I think Tommy sees the symptoms of your negative thoughts and feelings. Well, kind of like a runny nose and sneezing are symptoms of a cold. You know, another thing to remember too, Lois, is that most negative thoughts and feelings are not really accurate because they're based on opinions rather than facts. Well, for example, prove to me that you're a total failure. I mean, where's your evidence?
Well, I filled the essay paper.
Well, that's not good enough. I mean, does that prove you're a total failure, or at one point in your life that you learned to write a term paper because you did a poor job on your first attempt? I mean, can you prove with evidence that all your future career plans are ruined because of one flunked English lit term paper? I can see it all now. I'm going to pick up the newspaper one day, and the headline's going to read, Lois Johnson denied Pulitzer Prize because she flunked her first term paper.
I see what you mean.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm determining my whole future based on one bad experience.
Right.
It's not very logical, is it?
No, it's not. And it's like I just said. Most negative thoughts and feelings are based on opinions and not facts. They're not really accurate.
At this point, we can see that Lois has fallen into a low self-esteem trap. Her negative feelings and thoughts are not accurate, are based on opinion, and are not supported by facts.
You know, I think what happened to you was you fell into, well, what I call a low self-esteem trap. So you took one negative experience, right? In this case, it was the flunked English term paper. And from that, judged your whole self as being inadequate.
Phil sure didn't help.
What do you mean?
Oh, that creep. He made a point of rubbing in the fact that I failed and he did well. That sure did wonders for my self-esteem.
Yeah, I know. Negative input from others, right? You see, a valuable point, Lois, is that self-esteem doesn't really depend on support from others.
Tell me, Mr. Thatcher, how can I avoid falling into a low self-esteem trap?
Well, through self-awareness. You know, by recognizing each of the causes of negative feelings as illogical thoughts that are not based on fact, and then by doing your best to avoid them. You know, there are several common illogical thoughts that can lead to a low self-esteem trap full of negative feelings. Let's go take a look at some of them and see if they sound familiar to you.
Okay.
You see, a common one is picking out a negative event and then viewing a whole situation as negative.
That sounds very familiar. I guess that's the excuse I used to tell myself to drop English Lit before I destroyed my whole life.
Yeah, well, how about this one? All or nothing thinking.
Like, I failed my essay paper. Everything I do is a failure.
That's right. Now, making a statement like that doesn't make a whole lot of sense, does it? Friend of yours?
No.
Anyway, speaking of term papers, how do you think you're going to do on your next one? And the one after that?
Look, I gave it my best shot. I mean, I really worked hard on it. I don't see how I could do any better.
Lois, where is your evidence, okay? Can you prove to me right now, this very minute, that you're not going to do better on your next one?
I guess I can't.
That's exactly what I'm saying. That's another type of low self-esteem thinking. Assuming that one negative event's going to happen over and over again. As I already told you, you don't have any evidence that your mistake's going to repeat itself. And failing a term paper doesn't mean you're a failure. That's just another trap you fall into, mislabeling experiences and events.
What do you mean?
Well, attaching a wrong label to yourself rather than describing the event for which it really was. We'll see if these two statements sound better to you. I'm a failure because I failed my term paper, or I messed up on my term paper because I didn't know the proper research procedures.
The answer's obvious. I know what you mean.
Right.
It's not very logical to attach a negative label on yourself. There certainly are a lot of traps.
Oh, yeah. And speaking of traps, let's look at some other ones.
Wait a minute. Let me try one. How about not looking at the good experiences? You know, rejecting them as not being worthwhile.
Whoa, Lois. It sounds to me like you've had a lot of falls into that trap of rejecting positive experiences. Are there any certain ones that come to mind?
Yeah. Yesterday, when I remembered that I got an A on my first English lit test, I said to myself that it was just luck, but it wasn't. I know I have the ability to do it.
That's right. All of which relates to our next illogical thought. Blowing up a negative experience and then downgrading a positive one. See, you blew up your F and you downgraded your A.
I really seem to do that a lot because I really feel like I'm a failure.
Yeah.
As I was walking home last night, I felt like I was Charlie Brown and the whole world was named Lucy.